Hello, students. How are you? I suppose that you and your family is now healthy, and you and your family are uh, taking care of yourself. Now, today we are going to talk about the another most important things that is very important to understand the uses of that kind of the things, and it is nothing but it is just water. And water is so important for the we peoples to survive our life, because if there is no water then we cannot survive at a for a second on the earth. So here we are going to talk about the some specific thing that is related to water. But initially, as you know that once I started the any kind of the things, just before that I would like to share some kind of the knowledge so that we can understand all the things why we are studying these things here. Now the when we talk about the water, water is a basically kind of the things which is present in solid, liquid, and gaseous form. When it is called as a solid, then it is considered as a ice. It is water present in solid form. That is ice, and when it is a liquid, then whatever we are drinking, that is basically water. And another, whenever we boil it, then it vaporized. There are the three phases of the water. Now what happened here, I just this water is now there is a scarcity are going on to take care of the water. Now there are the some data which is written here. On the basis of this data we can understand what is the importance, and how if we will not save this water more, then how the whole the country will um, survive. You can see here, there is a in this picture, just here you can see in this picture, you can have there is some yellow places, and there is some red places. The red color is shows there is a scarcity of the water. If the water is not secure, then there will be the some, after some time there will be the condition of burning condition of the country. Now, according to this data, there is a baseline water stair withdrawal or available supply. With that, here you can see already the abbreviation is given for the on the basis of used in this country map. You can observe here what is the condition of the water in the different areas. Now when we talk about the 54% of India faces high to extremely high water stress. That means they are not getting a proper water drinkable. We are just talking, not talking about the all the waters, we talking about the drinkable water. Because water is available, others waters are available, but whatever the we can consume, that is that that water is very in a small quantity present. But that's why there is a we call as a 54% of Indian faces high and extremely high water stress. That means the availability of the water is very less at the particular kind of the area. And these percentage are basically here you can see, and the red this part and this part you can see here. You can see the 30 to 40% is high, and here there is there is a also there where we can call it as a where there is a no water is available for the drinking purpose. These kind of the things are happening because of the water. And why this happened? Because we are not very much aware the importance of the water. Now there is a sectors, the waters where the consume, and in these sectors there is a 1.3% of water is consumed. Whatever the water are available on the earth, out of that water, 1.3 percentage of water is available, it used by the industry, whereas the to make a energy, 0.3% of water is used to make a energy. Other is 6.5%, and domestic purpose, like we used the water is 6.6% of water. And this data is basically the Central Water Commission. This is not written by me. These data as I have collected from the different sources, and the sources is Central Water Commission, who has given this data. And in irrigation, there are the 85% of 85, more than 85% of water are used. That means the out of the available water, the 85% water is used by for the irrigation. That means for agriculture purpose. Now here there is a some thing also written but not very visible. But you can understand that water scarcity is there, and because of water scarcity, there may be in the future, there may be we have some none other than crisis will occur, that is the water. So we have to water used water safely. Now there are some facts also. These things are just want to increase your extend your knowledge, not for the write down the notes. It is not for your notes purpose, it is just to increase your knowledge. That's why I have given these data in front of you. These are the some data which I have already collected from the different sources, and for you people, so that you can aware about the importance of the water. Why? And that's why this water chapter is very very essential to understand. And the utility of this water is also the important to understand. Now there are the we call as a groundwater. Groundwater accounts for the over 95% of the nation's available freshwater resources. That means on the groundwater, on the ground level, there is a earth. Under the earth, there is a groundwater, and under that groundwater, the 95% of the national for the nation's 95% of the fresh water resources are available. This drinking water resource for half the people in this country. Means whatever the water is available on the earth side, it is only for the half of people in the this countryside. Now the when we talk about only 3% of earth water is a fresh water. Whole the water, we are talking about the whole the water. 3% of earth's water is a fresh water, whereas that means we can drink it. And about 44% of US population uses groundwater as drinking water. Here that means what? That means only the means if there is 100%, only 40% means 40 people are can use only the groundwater for drinking purpose. Dewatering is the process. Here it is another term which you want to have to understand. There is a dewatering term is the process removing the water from solid material and soil. These kind of the things which is used water that removing water from there is a solid part, and there is a soil part, and out of solid and soil part there is a wet part. And if we remove the water that from this solid and soil part, then this water is basically called as a dewatering. You have to just increase your understanding from these things. Now the things are again given in front of you from the um, illustrated data of the world. 332.5 million miles of water about there are the itna how there is a 332.5 million miles of water is available of the total fresh water. Means total fresh water, whatever the fresh of that, this much of water is available. Now 96% is a saline water, whereas a 4% is a fresh water. That means total availability of water is 100. Out of that 100 percent of water is 96% is not be drinkable, but only 4% water is can be uh, drinkable. Here the 68% is locked up in ice and glacier that cannot also directly used, and river constitute about 300 cubic millions, about 1 by 1,000th of the 1% of the total water. That means only the 300 cubic millions of water, whatever the waters are available, that much of can be usable. Now the 30% is the groundwater. Here this point is so the groundwater. The data which here are given by the Force magazine, and according to this data, there are the fall in groundwater level. We are talking about the water availability on the ground level, and whatever the water level available on the ground level is going to fall down. Here, the 52% of the Indians' wells show a fall in water level. 52% India's well, there is a well in India, and there is a well, and 52% of India's well are fall in water. That means the water level is going down. The sequence on the basis of different state in India, and there is a sequence also given here. You can just see here. When in Punjab there are 84% um, water available on the ground level. You can see here, and in Tamil Nadu, whereas in Tamil Nadu 60% of water is available on the ground level. These are the some very scare figure by which we can understand about the importance of the water. Same things, I think so. The watering I already deep well, these things just go through, just want to show you. You can go. Now this is also important which you have to understand here. There is a every child dies from the water they are drinking 20 second, means every child a child dies from the water, and if there is a no fresh water, and at that time the 20% of, so to every 20 second a child dies from the water they are the drinking, whatever the water they are drinking, because of that drinking water they are dies in every 20 second. Why this happen? Because of their the fresh water is now not available at the particular place. At any one of them, half the world hospital beds are occupied with the patients suffering from the waterborne disease. There is a another kind of the disease that is called waterborne disease, and every half of the one time half the world hospital beds are means pulled by, because they are suffering from waterborne disease. Now and average, and because these why these conditions are created, because they are not getting the proper water which is drinkable water. An average African women's 4 hours every day, and they collect to collect dirty water. There are the population in African women, they collect the 4 hour each day for they searching the water in different places, and out of 24 hours, 4 hours they spend to search the water. Now, it, 3.575 million people die each year from the water related disease. That means this figure is a very very high because of the water. So it is very this kind of the figure basically very gives very scare understanding about the water. If we will not secure or procure the water, what will happen with the coming generations. So because of this, the we are have a understanding that what is the water and why it should be uh, procure or harvest. Now, the the things which we are going to now study is basically the water and previous the discussion was about the water, some facts about the water, and so that we can understand why we are going to study. Because of all these reasons we have to understand the importance and of the water here. Now, here it is again, here it is written, water is a precious. Why? Why it is called as a precious? Precious means so costly kind of the things which is not available for forever. So it is precious kind of the things which is very very essential for any kind of the human, any kind of the organisms. Without water, nobody can survive. That's why it is called a the precious uh, matter. Now, the fundamental and most important essential requirement for the existence of life. Again, the same thing is given. If we any organism, those who wants to survive on the earth, then the fundamental and most important essential substance which is required to survive our life on the earth, that is called basically water. Now, water is naturally abundantly on our planet Earth. This is not made by anybody, it is just available on the earth. And because of that, the life is possible on the earth. And other planets where there is a no life, because that means there is a no water. If there is no water, there will be the no life. About two-third of this point is just for a knowledge purpose. Up from here to here, this is just for a knowledge purpose. For the notes purpose, these three lines are very important. About two-third of the total Earth's surface is covered with water, and it is transparent, odorless, and tasteless inorganic molecule composed in hydrogen and oxygen. How it is made up? If somebody will ask you, then how the water is made up of, then you can also answer it that it is made up of hydrogen and oxygen. And what is the nature? The nature of the water is basically transparent and odorless. There is a no kind of the smell, and there is a also no taste. That's why. And it is or inorganic molecule. That should you have to remember always whenever the waters come in your mind. Now, this is the also important uses of water. As you are aware about these things, you can write from by your side. There are the many uses of the waters. That includes the household uses, include the drinking, cooking. These are the some household using, cleaning, washing, bathing. These are the some there is a irrigation, cultivation, and crop industrial requirement. These are the some in the different areas there are the different uses. Thus water is required for many activities, therefore it is essential element required for the continuity of the life. These things are given here, you can just go through. Now there are the different sources of water. What are the different sources? We are going to talk about where the from where we can get the water. There are the different sources, and these sources are basically these points are you have to understand. River, ponds, lake, groundwater are the different sources of the water which can be used for drinking, cooking, and other human uses only after proper treatment like boiling, filtering. Before the before using the water for drinking purpose, that water should be boiled and filtered so that the whatever the germs in the waters that will either vaporized or they killed in the after the boiling. So that water will not going to hamper. Now there is a another thing, this line is also ocean, sea groundwater floating in the atmosphere and the ice. These are the places where the waters are available. Now, where the water is origin? Now, the origin of water is found out to be from a type of the meteorites. These are the some kind of the place where these waters are initially originated. The major source of water for human beings are lake, river, and pond. These are the major source. The chemical composition of water on the earth is the same as that of the some meteorites. These are the now availability of the water where it is available, same thing, and the uses of water. These are the why we use the cleaning purpose, drinking purpose, bathing, washing, irrigation, grinding, cooking, food, transportation, manufacturing, generating power, production in industries, and recreational activities like swimming, water sports. These are the some areas where the waters are used. There is a fresh water. Fresh water is a naturally occurring water present on the earth's surface in ponds and river. That means if we use that water directly by boiling and filtering, that can be used as a drinking purpose. The major source of rainwater is the precipitation in the atmosphere. Precipitation means whenever there is a rain, the waters are collected, and that kind of the things is basically precipitation. Now, here this point is also just for a understanding purpose, and you also have to make the one another things that is called the distribution of fresh water. Here, the percentage of water on the earth, there are the 71% of water is present as according to this data. And fresh water versus salty water, 97% is salty water which cannot be drink, but the 3% of out of the 71%, there are the 97% salt water, and 3% is only the fresh water is available which we are normally used for the drinking purpose. These are the things which is given here. You just go through the slide. You can also answer your question. I am not just going to reading it here. The same thing is given which is I explained in the previous slides. Now this part we'll discuss in the next class. There are the important things which I have shown. You have to understand that thing, and 2 3 point, that is what is water, what are the sources of water and uses of the waters, and the large distribution of the water. These points you have to note down in your notes copy. So thank you for today's session. We will talk meet next for the next session.